What's good, y'all, and welcome to another vid. Are you ready for the first ever look at Morik's Hall of Illusion at the Trial Keystones? That is exactly what we're here to do today. And yeah, for that, let's talk a bit about the basics. Before we get into the basics, let me give you an idea of what you can look forward to in this video. So we'll be looking at the loot of all the rarities. So rarity 1 through rarity 4, all the different stages from boss stages to golden stages to purple to blue stages, all the differences in between those. The loot will also be taking on a stage 1, we'll also be taking on a stage 4, and then we will have a comparison of what you can achieve with these materials between this Wukong and then the Wukong next to it, which is going to get all the resources that you can earn, so all the gems as well as all the augmentations for the artifact, to give you an idea of how powerful they truly are. Enjoy. So I did around probably like 2,000 runs, maybe like 2,500. Overall we spent I would say like 20,000 energy, and we managed to fill up the capacity. So capacity is full. Let's talk a bit about drop rates and such. So overall, obviously the drop rates on stage 24 are better than the drop rates on stage 21. With stage 21, I noticed it took around, you could say, so I did run 321 just to see what the drop rates are. I would say it takes around like 75 to 100 runs to kind of like guarantee a map. So I would put the drop percentage at like, I don't know, 1%. The important part here though is you can still get trial keystones level 3 like you would get it on 23. The only difference is the only level 4 stones come from stage 24, but there's also a purpose for that. But yeah, let's look at what we have, let's look at how this works, and let's go over it together. So you can see the tier. Other than the color, what it is actually referring to is the tier. So this is 1, 2, and 3. These, so up to the number 3 at the top, all of these can be dropped naturally from gear rate 21, 22, 23, whatever you are at. And those are what is here called the purple drop. It's a bit confusing, but yeah. If there's a 3 at the top, that means it's a level 3 gem. If there's a 4 at the top, that means it's a level 4 gem. You can see we have 2 level 4 gems, bunch of level 3s, mostly level 2s. So now what about the different colors? The different colors are, I would say, you could see it as more difficulty within the same tier. So let's take a look at a Mossy Crystal level 1. So the way we're going to be doing this is we'll be looking at the rewards first, and then we'll be playing a couple stages just to see how this all works. Overall, there is no difference between gear rate 1, gear rate 2 or gear rate 3 with what kind of crystal you're getting. It's always a mossy crystal, and the target trial is always black sewer. Though it couldn't be further from the truth that if you were to think that this is everything. So let's just start with the Mossy Crystal level 1. It has one, you could say, debuff benefit. You kind of can see it like maps in Path of Exile. So we have healing, fly, airborne healer joins the battle after wave 2. If we click on the information, you'll see that wave 2 you have the healing fly, and then you have to defend exactly 5 waves. Here are the 4 spawns. You can check out what these monsters have. They all have, for example, magic res, defense, defense, magic res. Here, high defense, low magic res, 50-50, and then the like. You'll have Aureate Inquisitors, Skeletal Giant Shielders, Argent Crusaders, and then the Healing Flies as kind of like your main enemies for this one right here. And the Healing Flies are specific to this keystone. So here it's all adjacent scavenger units. Now on this black sewer trial, which is all the trials, this is a level 1 keystone, and you have the ability to get between 2 to 5 purple chests upon completing it, which can net you anything from a stamina potion to legendary skill crystal shards and also these hammer shards. We'll obviously open a couple of these to see what the drop rates are. And here we have the first, you could say, drop, and that is a augmentation gem. Now what I'm kind of curious at the moment is maybe we don't have to play as many maps to see some drops. Okay, perfect. So we have enough of the gems, so we're not bound to the us clearing a whole lot of maps to get the resources, but we are going to be doing one map of each tier. So this was a tier 1 green map. Now let's go to a tier 1. We sadly don't have a blue one, but let's go to a tier 1 purple map. Straight up, what you're going to notice is this is 440,000 BP, this is 532,000 BP. Furthermore, these maps are all different between each other, and the biggest differentiator, as you can see right here, it is a boss stage, or better said, the Black Sewer stage contains a boss, and then we have Iralda, the Scorched Devourer, and a triple Iralda. You can also see the BP. Here you have 532,000 through all of them. Here you have 552,000. The Golden Guard joins the battle after wave 2 and reduces allies attack speed by 50, or spawns Stormwalker. Gilded Warden, Suicide Self-Destruct joins the battle after wave 2. So if we now take a look at this mossy crystal, you'll see that it's the same thing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 waves actually, and also starting from wave 4 we get the Lost Spirit Iralda as our enemy. Iralda has the ability to raise her staff, generating cursed power within its massive AoE damage. So for example, it would help bring something like an AoE damage reducer. Once again, you have kind of the same units, and then these Golden Guards, as stated in the map, are going to be joining. You can see they have an incredibly high amount of attack. These are the guys from Gear Raid 2 that just run into your defenders, lose 80% their HP, and then the next time they run in, they die. So this is a Purple Stone. Now next to the Purple Stone, you have a even higher difficulty within the same rarity class, or within the same tier, and that is a Gold Crystal. You can see again 592,000 versus 632,000. We also have two different bosses. We have Baron and we have the Scorched Devourer. Furthermore, you can also see right here, reduces allies blocked by 1 or at Inquisitor. First 3 instances of damage dealt are increased by 200%, and the Scorched Devourers create a trail of flames. So overall, it's a lot of randomness, it's a lot of extra stuff. What we did forget on the note of stuff is for this golden map, it is still tier 1, and you can see we have up to 7 chests of the ones we saw before. Then again up to 7 chests of these. We also saw those before, but now we also have the mythic chest. The mythic chest has the chance to include an evolution gem, which allows you to take a tier 1 gear to a random tier 2 or tier 3 set from the same category. So support set to support, tank set to tank, damage set to damage set. So that's the way this works. Here you see a couple of the rewards, and once again keep in mind this is from the lowest map, from the lowest tier of maps, and then we have the highest step up, and that is a tier 1 boss map. So let's just pick the most difficult, why not? We have the Scorched Devourer, spawns Batwings Banshee with the airborne and poison at positions 3 and 4, reduces allies rage region, poison reduces targets attack speed, and every 15 seconds Scorched Destroyer gain 20% attack. So we have the Scorched Destroyer who joins us at wave 3. This guy is this Aatrox dude. So overall it's kind of like a mix of a whole lot of enemies that we know from the story. The same with the bosses. They might have a certain different skills. They also have different interactions. Overall it's super fun. Honestly, it's a super fun game mode, I would say. Once again, same thing, but another wave. So we went from 5 waves to 6 waves to 7 waves to 8 waves. Still same layout. You have these 4 monster portals, and then you have 2 portals to defend with 3 platforms, and then the rest of units, maybe 4 platforms. We'll have to see towards the end. So this was tier 1 with the best rewards, again being the same chest but more stuff in it, which is what you're going to notice. So we have 8 chests. You can also see that something was removed. Here we have up to 10 chests, again with the augmentation gem. And now for the best chest, we still only have a chance at an evolution gem and augmentation gem, but it is 1 to 3, and it is 1 to 3 chests. So now let's move on to tier 2. Same scenario, same thing. Let's just quickly go through the rewards. So here we have 2 to 5 chests and then 0 to 3 chests. Once again, you're going to be able to notice these rewards. Though what you are also able to see is evolution gems, and these augmentation gems are already in the golden chest for tier 2. And this was the worst tier 2 map. So now let's go to the slightly better one. Then once again 1 to 5 and 0 to 4 with also higher drop rates. Also the chests do vary a bit between the difficulty of the stages, but overall it stays in around the same margin. Then again we have the same chest, we have the option to get ourselves the evolution gems. And then lastly right here already on tier 2. Tier 2, something you can easily still get from gear rate 21s. We have a new type of gem added, which is the Darkfall gem, which allows us to enhance the primary attribute of mythic or higher rarity gear by between 2 to 6%. We'll obviously see if that's the maximum and all that stuff. And then we have augmentation gems and also advanced augmentation gems as jobs who have the ability to massively, or they say greatly, enhance the artifact's attribute. So we are now currently only missing 2 resources, 2 different gems, and we're missing only 1 augmentation, and we are barely through with the tier 2s. So let's take a look at the golden one. You can already see, even though we're still in tier 2, we have 740,000 BP. So yeah, you can see kind of same rewards, obviously more chests, more chances. Then let's take a look at the final one, which is a tier 2 red map. Tier 2 red map, 0 to 8 chests, 1 to 10 chests, and then 1 to 3 chests, same drops, chance at 2 Darkfall gems. You get it. And then let's go to tier 3. So tier 3, we don't have a lot of options to show you, but we have the 6 to 10. So the minimum reward from a tier 3 map is a Empyrean Trove, which you have a chance to get a evolution gem from, as well as also this augmentation gem, summons, all that stuff. 6 to 10, so you're guaranteed to get 6. And then for the 3, once again, here we have these resources with the Darkfall gem and the evolution gem. Obviously the rewards would increase to a blue map and then to a purple map, but we don't have an example for it. We do have an example of a red map for tier 3, which includes 9 guaranteed chests up to 16 with these drops. Then 9 to 17, same stuff right here. And now for the final chest, boom, there you go. We have another gem in, which is the guaranteed variant gem, allowing you to add a variant to an ancient gear, meaning we're only missing a single gem. And then right here with the runic augmentation, you can increase, or better said, add a hidden stat to an artifact. So something like, for example, between 6 and 15% increased attack. So this is how this all works. Let's give one last one a chance, and that is the tier 4 map. So tier 4 map, 7 to 12 guaranteed, this is chest 1. 6 to 12 guaranteed, this is chest 2. You might remember it from tier 3. And then for the final chest, we have the last source, which is the transmutation gem. The transmutation gem is the one that allows you to change a secondary attribute to a different one of the same row. So if you have like a red roll on a piece, you could change it to a different stat. Then again, also a couple more of every other resource. But overall, I would say it's a pretty fair split, and it doesn't seem like tier 4 is all that necessary at the end of the day. We can take a look at the normal map. You'll see that if you get a normal tier 4 map, you're still missing out on, for example, the transmutation gem. So I like the split. Honestly, the transmutation gem makes sense for it to be the latest one. And I'm kind of happy with us getting these resources, the important ones, so early. So now that we got this out of the way, let's just start a red tier 1 map to kind of get a lay of the land. And then we'll, we'll do one tier 1 map, we'll do a tier 4 map, and then we'll jump to a couple of enhancements to see a bit of the chances. And then we'll make a follow-up tomorrow. So let's go into this right here. So once a battle begins, it cannot be restarted. Exiting mid-battle will trigger immediate settlement, and the tri-keystone will not be returned. So you have to really read through what happens here. So, I mean, I guess we might as well do so. In the first wave, we are faced with mostly defense-resistant enemies, and then a double that it pretty much has everything. Again, defense resistance, so magic damage looks heavily favored right here. Once again, same thing. Then we get Baron. Baron is again 50-50. These Aureate Inspectors and all these guys with immune to CC. Yeah, looks like we really want to bring some magic damage. So let's hit OK. We are in the Black Sewer. And let's just put together a somewhat realistic team. Alright, so we built us a pretty decent team with a lot of magic damage. You can see we have pretty much just magic damage, but nobody seems to be magic resistant. So we're bringing Curse, we're bringing Esotericist just to kind of prepare for it all. We got ourselves 2 tanks, 2 healers, a inspiration unit, and then like 4 DPS, as well as also double epic lord. We are also bringing the brand new hero Nerissa for a first test spin, just to see what she can do. And yeah, okay, 167 enemies. This might just be what we've been asking for, proper AoE content. Okay, Beelzeboozer can reach all the way over there. How do we do this? Or how do we even start? I mean, I guess we start with a tank. You can never really go wrong with a tank. And just in case, we're putting her 1 tile up, and then also putting down Beelzebub already to help with some healing. So yeah, I don't expect us to have like a great amount of difficulty. I would be very surprised if we do. And it looks like there's only 3 platform tiles. So ground heroes might just very well get a big boost in value. Because there really just isn't all that many tiles to place units on. So yeah, let's see how this goes. We kind of maybe fucked up over here because we don't have a healer for Brock here, because Björn, I mean, I guess we can just take out Viana and then go like this. Yeah, let's move myself out of the way. So we have the at position 1 spawn that do AoE damage reduction, joins the battle second wave, increase max HP. But yeah, I'm quite confident in this formation. And also what you can notice is another jab towards platform units, and that is we can deploy everyone, right? We can deploy everyone, but obviously we can't deploy everyone because there's no space. So if you are bringing a platform unit, it looks like it's quite important for you to make sure that they bring a lot to the table. Yeah. I think we just killed the boss. You can also, oh, I'm kind of hiding it. Man, there's so much going on right here. Where do I go? Let's make ourselves smaller and go over here. You can see this is the reward. So we have a purple chest. We have 2 of the golden ones. There's one of these guys. So obviously, depending on how much you struggle, these stages might or might not prove difficult. You might or might not have to read up on it. The main part I wanted to make is, at the end of the day, if you are getting the level 4 stones, then those should pose a challenge. So let's say the level 4 stones were available earlier, you probably wouldn't be able to make use of them anyway. They should require a level around what it takes to be the stage 24 to complete, if everything were to be in order. So we can actually leak 10 units. We don't want to do that. We didn't even have the boss yet, so that was just normal units, these big guys. Our team seems to be holding up quite well. We're getting Baron in here. Keep in mind, this is the lowest of stages. Okay, it is a boss stage, but it is tier 1, right? We're looking at tier 1. Also, we are only 56 out of 167, and you can see at the top left right there, we have a next wave counter. So overall, I still think this game mode is super awesome. Yeah, it might be a bit rude to get myself something to drink right here, but I'm decently confident that we can just observe what's going on. yeah, I don't know. I'm super happy with this mode. It seems like it just brings a lot of change, a lot of different stages, maybe even a lot of unexpected challenges to your account. And it seems like a lot of heroes might find a place here to be useful. Obvious big brainers are Wukong and Kigiri. You can never go wrong with Wukong and Kigiri anyway. So yeah, we gotta see how this all turns out. For the moment, we did clear all the waves. Depending on how high your damage is, maybe the boss is still active by the time this happens. But yeah, maybe not every wave is as spammy as this, but considering that there's 167 enemies, I would argue that AoE damage is pretty important, right? Especially on that one stage that we rolled where, for example, the block gets reduced by 1. There you would like to bring high block tanks so that you let less people through. And overall, yeah, you're gonna try everything you can to make it through this unharmed. Let's see. Okay, this is getting kind of close, but there's also not much we can do because we brought too many ground units. We brought too many platform units, not enough ground units. Makes one wonder, how do you best do this? I mean, Diao Chan in the middle here seems quite obvious, so you have the inspiration on all the ground tiles and also the potential damage reduction and the healing if you need it. But I mean, Beelzebub seems fine. Even Dolores, her positioning would be quite awkward, but I guess if you look at the ground tiles, there's so much space to place your units, so there wouldn't be any difficulty in placing them here or even here and then just having them face downwards, moving the tank one tile back. So there should be a lot of variants, a lot of things that could be done right there. And we probably have to take a different look at our team, change a couple of things in preparation for our tier 4 attempt before we then go into the specifics of what these gems even do. And then obviously you get more of an idea at a later date, because there's so much going on today. There's so much going on with this mode. Giving you a comprehensive review of how this all works is going to take quite a while. But hey, we did get a red chest out of our tier 1 boss dungeon run. I think that's quite nice. We were able to deal with everyone. I don't know, I feel like something like, you go like Ares and Magda, Ares Ardea, you go like full AoE ground units, seems to be pretty damn strong. So ground units for the win, I guess. Because healers are most of the time then going to be ending up as platform units. Okay, open all chests, here we go. We got ourselves as a reward 3 augmentation gems, 90, 120, 180, 200%, 200,000 gold, 2 shards, 7 crystals, or like this is around the 4th of a legendary skill shard, and then also some psychic power. What I find interesting and what might be nice of the devs to do is put legendary skill dust as a drop in these. This might be a good idea of a non too powerful drop. Ooh, we might get shit on because this is a million BP. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right, time for Black Sewer Stage 4. Purple version, not the boss, not the real like super crazy boss version, so not the hardest thing you can get. Still, you see there's the same amount of placement, you have the same amount of platform tiles and then a lot of ground tiles. What we did is we made a couple changes, we brought a couple more units in hopes of this going better. And yeah, let's see how our team is going to do. Let's this time just reverse the placement order. No particular reason. Yeah, I don't know. Ground AoE seems to be the way to go. Something that I did kind of fail to do here is bring another one, and we cannot quit. Oof. Yeah, obviously this is probably not, I mean, maybe it's gonna work. Maybe we can just fully tank this by just going double tank and then a single DPS behind. This might just work. Honestly, it's hard to say. And yeah. Oh, we have a limitation to the amount of units we can place. Interesting. Wait, what the? Oh no, it was just him triggering the ultimate. I thought he went invulnerable. Ah, yeah, the AoE damage. The AoE damage from the guy. I remember now. Also, it's only 118 enemies this time, not 167. Yeah, maybe this will all end up being fine. Okay, this already gives us an idea of some of the problems that might just happen, and that is these exploder guys pretty much single-handedly beat the shit out of us. There we go, stage lost, job done, stage 4, game over. So let's open the rewards. Hey, we still did get a Darkfall gem. So yes, we are going to do more stages. Yes, we're going to do guides for all the bosses, etc., all the drops, all that good stuff, just not today right here. Alright, yeah, so now for the part you've probably all been waiting for, and that is how good do these gems actually make a character, what kind of difference does it actually make, and for that we're going to be having a look at a Wukong as well as an equivalent Wukong. Both Wukongs are A5, both have the exclusive artifact at 25, and the stats are the following: 21, 5 HP, so we're just talking about the plus numbers, right, because the base stats are the same, plus 21, 500, plus 16, 300, plus 250, and plus 187, versus 21, 5, 1600, 260, and 187. So it's an attack speed difference of 15, an attack difference of 300, and an HP difference of 74. So we're going to be taking the, you could say, weaker version, this Wukong, and we're going to go piece for piece and see how we can enhance these pieces to make this Wukong stronger than the Wukong before. So let's just go straight into it. We have a lot of options right here. We could transmute a stat, but we're going to keep the HP the same. We could make it a variant piece, and we can also enhance the primary attribute. So let's start with the variant. We're going to turn the weapon into a variant weapon. Crit damage plus 2%, crit rate plus 2%. Obviously there's some RNG here. And now for this one, this interests me greatly. What is the max? So you can kind of see that you can get between 20 to 85, and then 100 to 360, 1 to 5%, depending on what kind of gear it is. So let's see. We have 1056. How high can this go? And what do we get on our first one? So now we have plus 30. Giving us 156 plus 30. If we now roll it again, we're up to plus 50. If we do it another time, we would go down to plus 35, which doesn't seem to happen. So overall, this isn't the biggest increase to power ever. Definitely the weapon and the chest piece with the flat sets are getting off worse right here. Worse right here, no doubt. So let's see. So it's between like the 50% rolls over here. We've done around 10 of these gems. The best roll we got was 50. Here we have a 40, then a 45, another 45. Let's see, can we get over 50 ones maybe, please? 20. Oof. 45. If 25, 30. Okay, we keep it at 50. honestly, we keep it at 50 transmutation gem. We would now be able to transmute the crit rate into something else if we so desired. We're going to keep it the same for the moment. We could also refine the crit rate attribute, but overall we have a single gain in the variant piece, and we also now have plus 50. Now next up right here, we can again use a Darkfall gem to give us a bonus. 180 is pretty much bang in the middle, so we're just going to keep it at 180. Obviously it's not crazy, but also there's not a lot you can do with a piece like this, because you can see all of these are kind of grayed out. We could technically do something funky like take a Calamity piece right here, a Calamity piece that is similar enough. Let's see, do we have a Calamity piece with HP? Not a good one. But for example, you could take this piece, go to Gem Enhancement, go to the Evolution, randomly evolve it, and bada bing bada boom, we now have a Ancient Wicked Vengeance instead of our Calamity. Or you could go the natural path and just upgrade it into Warlord. Interesting enough here, obviously option wise, there isn't all that many things it could roll into. So you can see it's going to be 50-50 between Warlord and Wicked Vengeance, where I would always take the bet in hopes of it becoming Wicked Vengeance, even though Wicked Vengeance obviously has the stat roll advantage, you could say. But yeah, overall, we have our gear the same right here. Technically, we could change it to Warlord because we used the transmutation gems, but we're going to keep it the same for now. For now, no big changes. Now let's start with the very first piece right here, which is the Soulbound Arcana Bangle, where we can use a Darkfall gem to give us between a 1 and a 5% attack increase. So here we're going to be rolling a 2. Let's aim for like at minimum like 2.5. So this is a 2, 1.1, 1.8, 1.1. Ooh, 3.1. Good enough for me. Then we can turn this whole thing into a variant. Increases the damage dealt to enemies inflicted with slow by 4%. Obviously not a big change. And then I guess here just to keep it interesting, we could confirm to select this attribute. You won't be able to refine / transmute. We can, for example, now change a HP bonus into, I guess, defense flat. The fact that this is random is a bit worrying, I gotta say. But yeah, so HP into HP flat, obviously weird. The only thing that would benefit us is either Rage Regen or Attack flat. So let's see how long it takes us to get there, because we're gonna have a higher HP base just from the other upgrades, which means we can afford, for example, swapping a piece like this. Obviously there's better pieces to swap, but this is more like symbolic. So here we go, we now have a full 4-stat God piece, if you want to call it that. Now on to the next one. Gem Enhancement, Darkfall Enhancement, once again 1 to 5%. 1.1% obviously isn't going to do a whole lot. 1.6%, 1.5, 1.1, 1.3, 1.7, 3.1%. There we go. So we increased our damage bonus by half. 2.5%, right? If yeah, 6% would be 6.6 would be 10. So it's around a 5% attack increase. I mean, it's a 3%. You get what I mean in comparison to the main stat, right? Here we could transmute crit damage. Dumb idea, not gonna do that. And then here we have the crit damage piece, where we again can go from 2 to 6%. We're rolling a 2.4. We're kind of hoping for anything around a 3. Let's see, 2.1, 6, 3. There we go. We're just going to keep it at 3. Now we have some extra increase, and this should be the biggest one. And let's work our way through it slowly, is what I would like to say, but you should always roll the random attribute first. So this is a 3%. Oh, it always only upgrades the... Aha! Aha, that's not great. Okay, then let's start with the common augmentation. Random plus 115, random plus 480, random just 80. So it looks like 480 is the max roll here, while 1600 is the max roll here. Let's see if we can get closer to that max roll. So stays the same, just 120, 200, down to 60. Yikes. 205, 130, hey, 650. Aww. I mean, we're not even at the 890. We've made it to the halfway mark. Now we just gotta see if we can get the same to happen for attack. Keep in mind we started on like 1003. That's 145. Preferably, you'd probably also only want to upgrade like the things you're always going to use. So, for example, Wukong's artifact, Kigiri's artifact first, all the good exclusives, the really popular exclusives first. Hex's Suitor of Cabus comes to mind, obviously. And then after that, the truly popular... Oh, we high rolled. We high rolled on HP 1400. And 270. So we made it over 50%. It took us around 20 of these crystals. Now for the advanced refined, we have a cap of 4000, a cap of 1200. So you can see already these gems are way better. We doubled our attack increase. We did get a lower HP increase. We increased our attack even further to plus 760. 760 is actually quite a lot. That's a 50% increase to the base. And then now 2760. So I would say overall that's pretty good. Now the real madness is to find a good stat. So you see we have all these different stats you can roll, and they can roll between 3 and 15%. So now we have an attack increase of 3.2%, which we obviously take. It's kind of like the same with gear. Now rage region 5.2 is higher, but attack should be more valuable. Crit damage, once again 3%, we stay with the same. Crit rate 5%, only worth it if... So the reason crit rate might be worth it is if you can afford to run a single piece without crit rate, allowing you to, for example, put in more attack speed, put in more rage region, put in more crit damage to take over for this spot right there. So there's a couple things that crit rate could help here, but overall, if everything goes optimal and if you already have your 100% crit rate with only 4 pieces, then trying to get the highest attack roll possible is obviously great. So once again, we are aiming for a 7.5% roll. The attack, the crit damage roll here at 8.3% we're going to take for the moment. And then we're just going to see how long it takes us to get something useful out of here. So once again, a 3.1% attack increase. 8.5. So 8.5 is more than 8.3. 3.4 is obviously less than 8.5. Attack speed 22, which is also below the 50% mark. And also, I don't think it's justified to take attack speed, especially because with the way attack speed scales. Obviously, right here, if you were to do this for a defender artifact, which kind of should be like your last thing to upgrade after you've done all the proper ones, would be to upgrade for a tank. So you would look for something like HP percent and defense percent. 44 is actually quite a high roll, which should be equivalent to around 12%. Should be around like a 12% roll in terms of attack. And I think a 44 attack speed increase is justified enough. So there's still a couple of things we could have changed, a couple of things we could have done differently. We could have upgraded to a whole different set from the beginning. But overall, let's see how much of a difference spending. I would say this is probably what you're going to get within like a week, maybe 2 weeks. It depends on what kind of stage you're getting. Obviously, the amount of red crystals we're burning through here is truly painful. But yeah, it looks like you can at least, in a sense, get lucky, which makes sense. First feedback to the devs would probably be buff the drop rates before releasing this to global, because it's just going to cause more frustration than it helps, especially with some of these values being truly this tiny. Let's see if we can once again make it over 50%. I mean, we did make it with the crit rate. We are at around 80, I guess you could say 80%. Ooh, maybe even a bit more, like close to 90% with the attack speed roll. Ooh, 8.5% attack. That is actually pretty good. So let's end it on 8.5% attack. So now grand reveal, we've spent these resources, we went in, we upgraded our Wukong in comparison to the old one. So what did we manage to change? Overall, we've increased our attack on Wukong by around 800, by around 845, which can't be quite, I mean, how is that possible? No, there must be something else we've done. I mean, how is it that we went lower? I mean, how is it only 1684? Is it maybe not counting in? No, it is counting in the 2800 from the artifact. I mean, we have 3% here, 3% here. So that's 6% attack. And then we have 50 flat attack. So, oh, and also we got a flat attack stat by swapping out an HP stat. I mean, 10% of... No, something has to be a bit wrong here. I don't know. This doesn't quite look like the calculation it's meant to be, if you know what I mean. I feel like the starting value changed somehow. Like, did we start on like 1600 flat? There's no way this just ended up being 1600 because the math doesn't add up. We have 760 right here, plus 8%, plus 6%, so that's a 15% attack increase, plus the 760, plus 50 base, plus then also the 350 attack speed. So this should not be, you know, this should not look like this. Yeah, and we also didn't swap a piece. The only thing we did is swap a stat. So I guess this is a bit weird, but overall, what did we get out of this whole shenanigan? We got 6% attack, plus 8% attack, so make that 15% attack, 760 flat plus the from the weapon, so 800 flat, then around 3000 HP from artifact and warlord chest piece, and then from the variant we got another 2% crit damage, from the rolls 3% crit damage, and then some extra damage against slow, so overall we gained 5% crit rate, around 20% attack, and then yeah, that kind of seems to be what we were able to get at the moment. Obviously, a little bit of a letdown, a little bit disappointing. We obviously have to kind of talk to the devs, see if we can get these rates higher, maybe even increase the max values, because at the end of the day, we did spend quite a bunch of these resources, and we didn't really make such a amazing leap forward. We can just do a couple random upgrades here, because why not? So let's just upgrade this piece right here, see if we can get anything fancy. So this would be a 4-stat gem enhancement, evolution, bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, and it would be cataclysm. That is actually pretty good. And that's actually pretty good. And then this cataclysm piece, you could also shouldn't we be able to take this cataclysm piece now, and it somehow doesn't count as a variant. Ah, weapon or bangle. Makes sense. It's a weapon or a bangle. I guess that does explain a bit. And then also obviously same is true for just taking a piece that is already a variant and then turning it into a tier 2, tier 3 set. Let's see what do we get here. Another Cataclysm Bangle, this time actually it being a bangle, so we can also turn it into a variant with increase the damage dealt from summon enemies, so quite cool. Yeah, okay, overall let's wrap this whole thing up. The stages, okay, let's just go by from the beginning-ish. I really like the way this works. I really like the fact that that you can get the most important resources even from just tier 3 maps. This transmutation gem, or here this this chameleon gem that you can swap a stat with, it really isn't as important as the other ones, so you can get the more important resources, like specifically these runic augmentation gems. You're gonna need a lot of them. That's also why you can get 2 to 6 per run if they drop. And then Darkfall gems, you're gonna need quite a lot. Evolution gems are gonna be a bit more niche, and variant gems, it truly depends on how many heroes or how many gear pieces you have that you truly want to awaken or enhance. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the game mode. It looks like it's going to introduce a lot of fun, a lot of RNG. You've seen how much we got crushed on stage 4 because we didn't properly prepare. So it's going to be important for you to read the things in the stage, to understand how these units work, and also to try to counteract the boss, try to bring units that work, and also fill out your ground unit roster, because as you've seen, we only have 3 platform spaces and a whole lot more ground spaces. And then now for the upgrade experience thing, the upgrades we made at the moment with the resources do seem to be I would say, realistic-ish level of how much you're going to be able to take advantage of this. Overall, yeah, what do we get? I mean, we repeated it quite a lot of times already, but like 1000 flat attack, 15% attack general, so 15% of 16700 ends up being like another 1000. So let's say it's around 2000 attack, 1000 flat HP, 5% crit rate, and then depending on whatever you roll. Also, we could have gotten 300 more, 40 more attack speed, but in this case we do have extra attack bonus. So very interesting system. There obviously needs to be some tweaking in the values, maybe make the higher values more, maybe cut a couple of the super low values out, maybe weigh the chances a bit more away from just that 50% or like the 30 to 40% mark. Yeah, this is the first look at this whole system. I hope it answered most, if not all, of your questions. And as always, we see each other in the next one. Peace!